Several rounds of heavy rain lately may have many of us cleaning up or finally thinking about prevention when it comes to protecting what we own from the rising water. Here to give us some helpful tips is home maintenance expert Jeff Menke from Gutter Helmet. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So obviously we have the wettest soil on the face of the planet here in Minnesota in most cases. Water can get into a house in a majority of ways, and because we have the high water table, it's something we always need to be concerned about. Ultimately, how does water get into the home?
The most common way that it happens is that the ground becomes saturated around the perimeter of the house. And most homes in Minnesota have basements, so it creates some hydrostatic pressure pressing up against the foundation wall, and then as that water starts to press, it will work its way up between the floor wall joint at the base of the floor. So when a home is constructed, there's some joints there that will eventually allow some water to come in because of the pressure.
Now, how fast can it come in some cases? Really quick?
It can come in really quick. I mean, I've seen houses 2 inches of water, within a couple-hour period of time.
It's amazing how fast that can happen. What are the best ways? Because obviously, if water's going to get in your home, it's going to get in your home. But there are some ways to prevent it, right? What can you do to help prevent it?
There's two most common ones. The first one is dealing with your gutters.
Okay.
If you don't have gutters, you want to have them. And if you do, you want to make sure when the water comes down away, typically if you're downspouts and you have extensions, you want to make sure you have long enough extensions. Usually 4 to 5 feet is what we recommend.
Okay.
So we get the water away from the house.
Okay.
If you don't have like a gutter helmet on there and you get leaves and debris and junk in there, a clog gutter is like having no gutter, so that's something you want to make sure you keep an eye on as well.
Okay.
The second one is usually a sump pump or a drain tile system in the house. It's almost like an interior gutter system that's underneath the floors of our house. And what that does, it basically captures the water before it gets to the floor, transfers it around to a sump pail, and then there's a pump that will lift the water up and out of the house.
Okay. So we've done as much preventing as we can. I personally saw some folks up in the Crosby area deal with flooding themselves.
Yes.
Once you have flooding, like you see water coming in, what do? Like, what's your first step?
The first step is you want to act quickly.
Yeah.
If you have a finished basement, get the carpet up. Usually there's padding underneath there. That will saturate really fast. So get the carpet up. If it has completely saturated, typically you're going to have to replace it.
Okay.
Then what you want to do is inspect the walls, usually the sheetrock, pull off the baseboard, check the sheetrock for moisture. You can usually push it, see if it's soft. Otherwise, they do make like a moisture meter.
Oh, okay.
You can actually get a reading to see if moisture is absorbed in the sheetrock.
Okay.
Because between the sheetrock and the insulation, it almost works like a sponge. And if that starts absorbing there, it's a dark area, it can develop and you can create mold really fast.
How long does it take for some of this stuff to soak in moisture? For example, the sheetrock. I mean, if you have like an inch of water on your floor, if you mop it up really fast off the carpet and mop it up away from the sheetrock, are you good, or is that not recommended?
You want to check it, but normally that water is coming in underneath the sheetrock, underneath where the stud would be on the baseboard.
Okay.
So it's actually hitting the sheetrock before it hits the carpet, which starts to soak up.
Okay.
Sometimes there is like a vapor barrier behind there that will protect that from happening, but the best thing to do is test it as soon as possible.
Okay. Finally, we're running out of time. Yeah. What do you see as because I'm sure you see this a lot, biggest mistake for a homeowner when it comes to flooding?
Biggest mistake is if they have a sump pump system, they don't have a battery backup on it.
Oh.
And as you know, with storms, power goes out.
Yep.
And they have no pumping system if they don't have a battery backup on their unit.
I never even would have thought of that. My house actually doesn't have a sump pump just because I live on a hill, and so it all kind of rolls away anyway. But that didn't even dawn on me. I like that.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jeff.
Thanks for having me, Corey.
Menke from Gutter Helmet. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.